All right, the NFL draft is fast approaching.
Now we're focusing in on McCarthy. Are you buying him as a top 5
No,
pick?
God, no. He's not that accurate. I am not. He's a good athlete. I am not a huge fan.
With the 2024 NFL Draft right around the corner, let's dive into 5 highly touted prospects who could go down as massive busts and 5 under-the-radar guys who could be big-time steals. Potential bust, J.J. McCarthy. The Michigan Wolverines signal caller is a sure bet to go in the top 10. Some even think he could go as high as a 2nd overall to the Washington Commanders or even at number 3 to the New England Patriots. McCarthy went 27-1 as a starter at Michigan. Over the 2022 and 2023 seasons, he threw for 44 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. His excellent 72.3 completion percentage from last season is also tough to overlook. Many think that McCarthy was nothing more than a game manager for the Wolverines who cruised to a 2023 national championship, but McCarthy also managed the game masterfully and didn't screw it up. He is a big-time QB, and that counts for something, but McCarthy's overall physical skill set here is extremely limited. We don't really have much to go on because, well, Jim Harbaugh never put the ball in his QB's hands, and the Wolverines just relied on the Blake Corum-led rushing game in their stingy defense to really close out games. But consider this, McCarthy only attempted 30 passes in 3 games last season. He only had to attempt 18 passes in the national championship win over Washington. McCarthy doesn't have Caleb Williams' all-world athleticism, Drake May's slick arm release, or heck, even Jaden Daniels' dual threat abilities. Whichever team ends up drafting McCarthy is banking on the idea that there's more to his game that Harbaugh didn't reveal at Michigan. Because quarterback is the most important position of them all, McCarthy is gonna be an early pick. There's a high chance that he develops into a quality starting QB in this league, but there's also a very good chance that he just ends up being a career backup as well.
J.J. McCarthy, my comp for him is Alex Smith. Alex Smith had success when he had Jim Harbaugh and Andy Reid. When he had Mike Nolan and Mike Singletary, it was a disaster. They were chanting for David Carr.
The draft bust potential is very high. Potential steal? Spencer Rattler. Rattler has had a fascinating journey to get to this point. Many years ago, well, actually just back in 2021, Rattler was once considered the early favorite to go 1st overall in the 2022 NFL Draft. But after a tough start to the 2021 season, Rattler was benched in favor of some random guy named Caleb Williams. Anyone know of him? Rattler transferred to South Carolina to revive his football career. Over his 2 years there, he had 37 touchdowns against 20 interceptions and exceeded 3,000 passing yards in both seasons. Rattler's stats weren't super eye-popping, but hey, keep in mind that he didn't have the best supporting cast at South Carolina. As a member of the SEC, the Gamecocks also face an onslaught of elite opponents. Rattler's aggressive style of play and small frame, 6 foot and 211 pounds, are bound to scare teams away. We're not saying that he'll definitely be a superstar, but the upside is absolutely there, and it's worth taking a chance on. Rattler has excellent accuracy and a beautiful touch on his passes. Inconsistency and turnovers are problematic, sure, but the right coaches can work with Rattler and eliminate that. Heck, just look at what Brian Dable did with Josh Allen, for example. Rattler probably won't go until round 3 at the earliest, and his hot and cold play will be a deal breaker for several teams. But you know, the right coach just might be able to fix his weaknesses and make Rattler a star in this league. Rattler to Sean Payton's Denver Broncos or Sean McVay's Los Angeles Rams would be the ideal landing spot. Potential bust? Nate Wiggins. Wiggins is one of many promising cornerback prospects in this year's draft class. He won't go ahead of Alabama's Terrion Arnold or Toledo's Quinn Mitchell, but Wiggins has a realistic shot of being the 3rd cornerback taken off the board. Wiggins was an elite cover corner with 17 pass breakups and 3 interceptions over his last 2 years of college ball. But as the likes of Jeff Okudah and CJ Henderson will tell you, being a highly touted cornerback, an early round pick does not guarantee success in the NFL. For example, will he hold up against deep threat and contested catch specialists? As a rookie especially, Wiggins can expect to be targeted aplenty by opposing QBs when he's lined up against top receivers. Wiggins is simply a guy who relies on his speed, instincts, and football IQ more than anything else. Does he have the physicality to hold up against bigger guys in coverage? That's going to be the main question. And it's why this likely 1st-round pick has a very high chance of being a bust. Potential steal? Blake Corum. Going back to Michigan Wolverines prospects, Corm had a monster final season at Michigan, racking up 1,245 rushing yards and 27 touchdowns. The year before, he had 1,463 rushing yards and 18 rushing scores. There are several reasons as to why Corm promises to be a great value pick in the draft. For one, he plays a devaluing position where RBs are rarely taken in round 1 anymore. Secondly, Corm is viewed as merely the 3rd or 4th best RB in this draft class, with Texas' Jonathan Brooks and Tennessee's Jalen Wright being the consensus top top 2. Depending on who you ask, many consider FSU's Trey Benson a superior prospect than Corm as well. That is no issue for Corm in whichever NFL team decides to draft him. The 5'8", 205-pound running back is a workhorse in the backfield who racks up the yards after contact. But boy, can Corm lower the boom and get those extra yards. Corm will likely be a late second or early to mid third round draft pick. And you know, that is going to be a great value pick because he has the skill set and physical tools to be a consistent 1,000-yard rusher in this league. Potential bust? Latu Latu. Compared to more recent drafts, this year's class doesn't have as many grade A pass rushing prospects. UCLA's Latu Latu is among the top edge rushers though, so he is bound to be a first round pick, likely somewhere in the top 20. But unlike Alabama's Dallas Turner, Latu is far from a near sure thing to succeed, due largely to his very limited skill set. Latu had 10.5 sacks in 2022 and 13 last year, so he's your guy if you're in the sacks tell the story crowd. Latu just isn't as polished as other edge rushers in this class though, and that's largely because of his leaky run defense. And though he's listed at 6'5", 259 pounds, Latu isn't naturally athletically gifted compared to today's top NFL pass rushers. He relies on his quick thinking and instincts more than pure strength and power. As such, he could struggle considerably with his one-on-one matchups against the pros. Now, Latu has awfully high upside, but the many question marks surrounding his physical abilities also make him a giant risk. Needless to say, it's gonna be interesting to see which team takes a chance on the UCLA stalwart. Potential steal? Javon Baker. Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, and Malik Neighbors are the big 3 receivers in the 2024 draft class. The next tier includes Xavier Worthy and Adonai Mitchell of Texas, LSU's Brian Thomas Jr., Florida State's Keon Coleman, and Georgia's Ladd McConkey. Those guys all have tremendously high upside. But you know, be sure to throw a little mini celebration if your team ends up landing UCF Knights wideout Javon Baker. The 6'1", 202-pound wideout has the size and physicality to be a multi-time 1,000-yard receiver in the league. According to Pro Football Focus, Baker had a phenomenal 93.6 receiving grade in single coverage during his college career. Baker's speed and size make him a dangerous deep threat and red zone weapon. If he lands with an elite QB like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, or Lamar Jackson, Baker could be a sleeper for Offensive Rookie of the Year honors. There's a lot to love about Baker's game. If he's paired with the right coach and quarterback, Baker could have an unexpected elite rookie year similar to what we saw from Puka Nacua for the Los Angeles Rams in 2023. Potential bust, Xavier Worthy. Worthy turned heads at the NFL Combine when he ran for a 40-yard dash time of 4.21 seconds. That time broke the record set by John Ross, who ran a time of 4.22 seconds back in 2017. Unfortunately, as Ross showed, pure speed alone is not enough to make you a star in this league. Worthy has lightning-quick speed that has plenty of scouts and analysts drooling, but he's listed at just 5'11" and 165 pounds. That's concerning for a variety of reasons. One, Worthy's route tree isn't exactly deep. Sure, he can run the vertical route, but this isn't Madden mode where you can just air it out and expect your guy to win one-on-one coverage every single time. Opposing teams will be able to jam Worthy at the line of scrimmage and use a safety over the top to neutralize his explosive game-wrecking abilities. And with such limited size, Worthy isn't exactly a good bet to win contested catches. So whichever team drafts Worthy must keep in mind that he is unpolished and requires a lot of work. He'll have to expand on his route tree and bulk up considerably because, well, likely day one pick, like Worthy, has to be more than a home run or nothing receiver. Potential steal? Cameron Kinins. The safety position has devalued a little bit in recent years, as this year's NFL free agent market has shown. But remember, Alabama's Brian Branch was supposed to be a first-round pick last year, and he fell all the way to the Detroit Lions at number 45 overall. Kinins is a consensus top 10 safety in the 2024 class, but there's a good chance that he slips into round 3 or 4. Consider that Georgia's Javon Bullard is the top safety in this draft, and he's most likely a day 2 pick. Over the last 2 years, Kinins racked up 11 interceptions and 10 pass defenses. He was rock solid in coverage and has the speed and athleticism to go one-on-one with both wideouts and tight ends. So, you folks go ahead and discount the safety position all you want. Kinins was an absolute beast at Miami, and the skill set is there for him to be a day 1 starter and future All-Pro. Potential bust, Michael Penix Jr. Penix Jr. could be a top 15 draft pick, and he'll most certainly be gone by the early stages of round 2. He's the ultimate boomer bust prospect, and we can't wait to see which team rolls the dice on the Washington quarterback. Penix Jr.'s aggressive style of play, elite deep ball, and slick release make him an enticing prospect for several scouts, but there's plenty of risk here with Penix Jr. that other teams need to consider. For one, Injuries. Before transferring to Washington, Penix suffered season-ending injuries in each of his 4 years at Indiana, including 2 ACL tears. It's not ideal for a 24-year-old man to have that many injuries before he turns pro. Penix also doesn't have the mobility or speed to extend plays like most of today's young QBs. Accuracy is also a problem, since Penix oftentimes goes for the home run ball instead of taking the easy stuff underneath. Penix could certainly land with the right team and emerge as a star. Remember, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson were also hit-or-miss prospects, and their respective teams really hit on them. But there's also a high chance that Penix flops at the pros. You wouldn't be the only QB to put up video game numbers in the NCAA only to unravel upon making the jump to the NFL. Stay tuned, because he's going to be a very fun rookie to follow one way or another. Potential steal? Brendan Rice. Who else on this list but the son of an NFL GOAT? Yes, USC's Brendan Rice is the son of the greatest NFL wide receiver ever, none other than Jerry Rice. You know, that 3-time Super Bowl champ who holds every major wide receiver record? The 6'2", 208-pound Rice went off with Caleb Williams last season, recording 45 receptions for 791 yards and 12 touchdowns. Rice averaged a ridiculous 17.6 yards per catch, forming ideal chemistry with Williams' big arm. Like his old man, Rice isn't going to blow you away purely with speed or athleticism. Jerry taught Brendan had to open up a library of routes, allowing himself to get consistently open just about anywhere on the field. Rice feels like a guy who can produce in just about any offense, since he can line up anywhere on the field. You can't teach someone how to be Jerry Rice, but Jerry Rice can sure teach you how to read and burn defenses by thinking one step ahead. But which other top 2024 NFL draft prospects could be a giant bust? And which ones do you think are under-the-radar guys that could be massive steals? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.